What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be doing our weekly weekend Q&A round 10. You guys submitted all of these questions here to the request box over the last week, and today I'm going to answer every single one of them. Looks like we have everything from email and retention to hiring brand faces, percentage of EBITDA you take out of the company at a personal level, AI, personalization inside the CRM, all the things. So I'm sure you're going to find a golden nugget in here. All right. Last year, we did 30 million in our info coaching business. We've now crossed over 78 million in total cash collected. I think it's actually 79, but I'm not selling anything. Everything on the channel is to share what did work, didn't work, and what we are actively doing to scale to 100 million a year, all with the goal of finding top talent, opportunities, and networking with cool people building cool shit. All right, so let's get into it. I think today is day 115 in a row, which is pretty nutty because I was only going to do this for 30 days. So first one, if you had to start an info coaching company completely from zero with no skills, zero revenue, how would you proceed and scale to 100 to 250K a month? So no skills, that one's tough because you need the skills. So zero revenue, that's normal. I talk about this a lot. I'm going to have, what's today, Saturday, Monday, Josh Gavin and I are going to get back on. He's kind of the guy he was offerpublisher.com. So he talks about how to do this, but essentially this business model for info coaching is an expert and a marketer. And then when you kind of get to scale, an operator is how I like to think about it. A lot of the time the marketer can also be the operator. So you hear growth operator, you hear growth scale, all that. You basically just need a brand face that has something valuable to sell. They have good info, they have coaching, they have something valuable that people are willing to buy. And then you can sell it through info or through coaching. So a lot of people talk about this model. There's a lot of people out there who teach people how to be growth operators. I like Josh Gavin's stuff. So hit him up on something, and that's kind of a good approach. But essentially, all you're going to do is model something off that. Create an offer is where you generally start. Price it appropriately for the market and for what you are selling. BizOp, for example, has ROI justification. So if you're going to help someone make X amount, you can charge X amount. I don't really play in that game too much. I've never really played in BizOp, but we'll do stuff that's outside of there and use internet marketing and info coaching principles to scale it. So think about something like vegan, or like I know somebody who has How to Grow the Largest Pumpkin, for example, that teaches info and coaching on that and crushes it. So you can do it in any industry, but you need to find somebody who either already has an organic audience that you want to boost off of and use. I know guys who do that, or you just build it around there and then run paid, which is a little bit more difficult in my opinion, but that's kind of the approach. Next one on here, deep dive for retention channels. Love to hear what you're doing with email, SMS, WhatsApp, physical mail, push, and what else you're doing to drive up LTV. So I assume what you mean is then internal. So retention meaning somebody who's already a customer and then sending email, SMS, WhatsApp, physical mail, push. So I actually inquired about this the other day because I think physical mail, I think about this more on the acquisition side than the retention side, but there's actually a pretty good point. Right now we just do email and SMS. We have a Facebook group. We have some live stuff. We do some one-on-one calls. We do some group calls. We do stuff like that, like inside the community. We don't actually sell a ton internal, which is the reason our LTV isn't as good as it could be. Well, that's actually because we didn't have offerings, nor did we have XYZ, let alone communication methods. So like starting with the core thing is like, what are we going to offer them? And then how are you going to communicate with them? Email, SMS, WhatsApp, right? So for us, North America, so SMS works pretty well. Email, okay. Physical mail, we're talking about doing this on the acquisition side more so. So like retargeting through physical mail. We have a 40, 60-year-old demo, so that would kind of lend itself well retarget-wise, or kind of for our demo, right? The whole omnipresence. So we go multi-platform already for that. I don't really know what you mean by drive up LTV on that. I talk about that in some other videos on what our plans are on like basically who else has our customer profile, and then how do we either build that into our own business or do it through partnership. And yeah, so that's where we're at. Let's assume you're bootstrapping your product, you have limited funds, and one mistake might mean shutting up shop. What marketing efforts are you doing over one a month? And pick 3 top-line metrics you're looking for and what your daily, weekly to make sure you get some kind of positive return. I don't know if I understand this. So what are you doing with marketing, doing over 1 a month, and picking 3 top-line metrics you're looking for and what you're doing daily? I would pick one thing and only do one thing. So you'd have a one source, one offering, one whatever, and you'd scale that up until you have such like a healthy profit margin that you, or such, positive cash that you can then test other ones to offset it or try and beat it with better returns. So I would just do one. So just do meta, just do one funnel type, just do one offer type, and just optimize it until it's like printing cash for you. And then you can test out TikTok or YouTube or whatever. Another good way is putting it into content. So that also costs. I mean, you can do it for free, but doing it through that so you get organic. So you're not just burning cash potentially on ads. That doesn't work. So Organic, it's just going to take a bit longer. But yeah, I mean, you just don't want to put yourself in a position where shutting up shop is a thing. That's why service-based and info coaching is so nice, is because it's so lean. You don't need to like shut up shop if you make a mistake, because it doesn't take that much cash outlay. You're not buying $500,000 in inventory or 50 grand in inventory or whatever, and then trying to sell it only through ads. You're burning cash on inventory, not burning cash, but you have cash outlays on inventory. You are potentially then burning cash on ads if it doesn't return because it's gone. So that's why people always say start with services. Same thing with like affiliates. Like you spend 10 grand a day on ads, and then if you don't get sales, like you're out. Same with lead gen. Same with e-com at some level with e-com. So yeah. Can you talk about how you're creating incredible data and dashboards across every rep, setter, closer funnel, currently generating 1 million a month with 3 clients, but we don't have anywhere near your level of sophistication in terms of tracking. So when you say you're currently generating 1 million a month with three clients, I assume you're managing 3 clients that are doing a total of 1 million a month, and you're trying to get clear on their data. So first things first with dashboarding is it comes back to the data. So what data you actually store and how clean it is then what you can report on, if that makes sense. So basically, like let's look at a VSL call funnel, for example. You'll have an opt-in date, you'll have an app date, you'll have a call date, a call booked on date. So when did they click the button and when is the actual call? Those are flipped, but if they showed, so like all the outcomes of the call, and then the close, right? So you have like essentially all those data points, and then you can report across that, and you can do it by funnel very easy, because it's like, okay, cool, they came in through this funnel. What is the opt to app percentage? What is the app? What is the call? What is the call cost? What is the live call cost? What is the cost per client? You could run 2 funnels next to each other and see the cost per client on one is $1,000 and it's $3,000 on the other one. You want to lean more spend into this bucket. You scale it up and you find that it starts to break after XYZ, or it throttles because of this, and then you can play them back and forth as an example. You say rep and setter and closer. All of that is then more so on, it's kind of like, so for example, on setter, let's use that. So a setter will get basically be able to claim a lead. They claim it, they'll claim it at the contact level. So a lot of these CRMs will have basically a contact. A contact will have many deals. A contact can have a company, so a company can have many contacts, and it's all of this like relational databases. So what'll happen is a setter will claim a contact. They will assign themselves as like setter owner of the contact. So now they're in charge of, and you can report on the fact that they claim this person, they're in communication with them. And then when they set the deal, they will then also mark themselves as setter owner on the deal when it's when it's generated. So then you can track which deals have closed, which deals are in whatever stage pipeline that contain that SDR owner. And then you can run reports on that. Same thing with the cash collection. And then it's like all the data that exists on a deal. So it's like what happened at the deal level, what stage are they in, how much cash was collected, what was the time between deal creation and deal close, so you know like your rough time on call to close, all that kind of stuff. So it really comes down to how you store the data, and then trying to have one source of truth, which is an issue for us and we're actually solving for right now, and then having ideally one dashboarding set. So a lot of people use HubSpot and like the viewers on that, which are not that good. I don't really like. And then we're using kind of some custom solutions in one custom database. I know a lot of people who use BigQuery and Looker. Looker's pretty slow for me. I've heard a lot of people using Databox plugged into whatever database solution, plugging into HubSpot, plugging into Sheet, whatever. But yeah, so you essentially just need clean data, making sure that it's consistent across there on the billing side, on the fulfillment side, on the sales side, on the marketing side. Once you have your clean tables essentially of relational data, then you're just reporting off that on one generalized tool so that everyone can use there. And then you can do user specific, you can do team specific, and then you have databases of users. So you have like SDRs all exist in one team, report only from this team across this range, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that was not confusing. How do you use AI to optimize personalization, CSM? I assume you mean CRM or content system. I think that means like website hosting too, and copywriting. So for us, the main place we use AI right now, which is not enough, we use AI a lot internal for like summaries, for data collection, for analytics, for like compliance pieces, for coaching, for feedback, internal. But when it comes to like personalization and client facing, we really only use it on our app no book sequence. So like what I was talking about, you have someone who opts in, then they apply, then they book a call. When they apply, they give us their phone number for the first time. So we don't do it on the front. Between the application and the booking, they'll be drop off and fall off. And Jeremy Haynes is gonna make fun of me if he listens to this, because his is like 80 to 100% completion rate. Ours is like 50 to 70, let's just say roughly. So we'll have people drop off. So 100 people will apply in a day. Let's just use easy math. 50 will book. You have those 50 spread that applied but did not book. We will read their application through AI. We have our entire website, all of our resources, all of our everything built into a database flatten across, and then it'll look based on their application, based on the website resources, what are the best resources for that person. It'll grab the best resource. Hey, so-and-so, based on, I won't say based on your application, but it'll be like, oh, I see you've been struggling with XYZ, or you tried XYZ. Here is a resource on the site. Did you get the link? And then it'll have a communication back and forth, all with the target of pushing them to book, but it'll do it through like a qualification. So it's basically like a AI setter that works through SMS. That's kind of like the core one. We do use some stuff on the back as well on client side that's like duped or like cloned AI voice for surveys and pieces of that, but we like say that they are. We're not super fans of like pretending to be through AI, so we don't really do that. But there are a million other layers that we could use this. We're doing it a lot with automations now. We're moving tons of Zaps over to N8N and some other pieces, which again, it's more so like automations. There's like a little infer or whatever that's happening over there. But yeah, so we could do this more, but we don't do it a ton right now. And then how we use it for copywriting, like crazy. So we'll use it on all of the VSL copy. We'll use it on page copy. We'll do it for complete ideation and then come in and tweak it after. We send 2 emails a day, so we'll pop those in there. And then again, we usually come in and like fine tooth them after. But yeah, so we'll use them for a lot there and a lot there. What would you do if you had to make 77 million from scratch? If I was to redo this, I think I've talked about this a lot, but I would probably stay in some version of info coaching. I would definitely lead with paid pony, or like basically on top of an organic machine. I would pick somebody that's like a powerhouse so that I see a lot of potential in as an expert, and I would build it through that. But I would do it with something with a very large back-end monetization play. So something like, I've used many examples of this. If you go back and watch videos on the channel, insurance, finance, stuff in that realm, I think they have massive back ends that you can do, things that can plug and play with partnerships, things that can scale. And the other thing that a lot of people don't talk about, because it doesn't happen in info coaching, is exits. So this is also something that if you wanted to build for 3 to 5 years and exit and make this instead of making it in cash flow, that's a different game and probably not really my speed and something I shouldn't talk on because I have not done it. So that would be my game plan if I was literally like ran out of everything and was at zero. So I've started doing high ticket through a VSL application funnel. I was also running a free community to paid community prior and continue to do so. Recently implemented the center onboarding call to low ticket, so going to keep pushing that. Yeah, run that. That crushes. But I don't want to be pushing 3 links from organic: free, low ticket, high ticket. So maybe going to run free and high ticket only and have low ticket ascension from free. Would like your advice. Low ticket is very valuable, so many push to ads, trying to work out what's the best from organic. I wouldn't mind having a CTA for my clients, but not to coaching students separately funnel. So keep this centralized. So pick like 2. So I think on YouTube descriptions right now, you can fit 2 links. So we'll have 2. We'll have one that's going to the free training that pushes to the VSL funnel. And then we'll have one that goes to the low ticket. So we don't have a free community and all of that. I mean, we do, but like we don't use it on a front end at all. Like it's included inside. So basically someone will opt into the VSL call funnel. They will then get invited to the community or like push to go do it. They'll join inside Facebook and they'll do it there. But we don't have like the proper setup for free to push to paid and all that kind of stuff, because a lot of time you'll like exactly what you're saying here, free community to paid community, we don't even have that as an offering. So for us, it's like going into the low ticket and then low ticket immediately ascending into the high ticket. So I would likely just do like what we do is literally push to the low ticket. You have your people that come in as buyers, they come in, you make your $20 or your $100 or whatever your low ticket setup is. It's still approachable, because the biggest thing with this is like, what's the most approachable thing for someone who's living in organic? And I don't know what your niche is or whatever, but if they're not ready directly to apply for the high ticket and are like pre-sold already, then yeah, you need consumption. So you either need to push them through something free where they get the consumption. So in our case, it's a free training that then pushes them to apply and book a call to the high ticket, or we push them through low ticket, which instead of being a lead, they become a buyer. Inside the buyer flow, then like you said right here, they're doing the onboarding call, which then you can ascend them to here. So I likely would keep it as these 2, or like, I don't really know how your free community is structured. But if you're getting enough organic, like it can likely just push right through low ticket. So you're actually making money on this. A lot of time with low ticket, you're doing it to liquidate ad spend to make the economics work. But if you can get your free community to do the same thing, you'll get more, I would assume. So you get 100, you get 100 clicks to it. What's your take rate on the free community versus a low ticket versus, I don't know what you're doing with high ticket, but I assume like an application through VSL application funnel. So I assume it's that, but it's all about the economics. Or economics paired with the throughput. So just do the math and model it off of if you have 100 clicks to that page, and then determine which one has the highest throughput is generally how I would do it. In the most cost-effective and efficient manner, what is the best way to get volume for UGC ad creatives? Right now I write copy, hire someone to do Upwork, Fiverr to record the content, then have a VA edit it or do it myself. I feel like it's a very tedious process, and I do not have financial means to completely outsource creative ideation and editing for different marketing angles. At your scale, what does this process look like? How are people one-man shows with big e-com brands effectively? This is funny. So Josh Snow has something, I'm forgetting the name of it. It's like something brands, powerhouse brands or something along those lines. And I was literally going through their resource section. They kicked it up the other day, and he was on a live, but they were talking about this, and they have multiple websites they go to. And I'm sure someone could comment below with some examples. There's complete AI versions of this, first of all, is one thing. If you're like sending product out and you're trying to control it a little bit better, but like first things first is there is definitely AI ways to do this that are like mass scale. I'm sure it costs money. We don't do this for ours, so I don't really have exact like personal experience with this. We have brand faces that we have basically brought in-house, that we pay X amount, and then they create content for us. We have a schedule. We provide them with scripting. We provide them with XYZ. We've, filtered and trained kind of on how we want the content. They send it back. We have an editor who edits everything, and then it pushes over the marketing to go live, or to the media buying team to go live. So that's kind of ours. We don't do like mass ad creatives through UGC. I know a lot of people who do an e-com, and they either use AI or they just farm them out on these platforms that are specifically built for this. Same thing with people. I don't know if you're using, I don't think you're doing e-com, but a lot, One Man Co. No, you're talking about other guys. E-com guys a lot of time will also do this through TikTok Shop and then be able to take those from TikTok Shop and use them as ad creatives. This is kind of not 100% my expertise, but you're thinking the right flow. I think you just need to probably find a platform that'll have them kind of more direct on them, or just use one of these AI platforms. Different people feel different ways about that because, like, is it real or not? It's obviously not real. But sometimes that's okay. I mean, I don't know. You can play the game how you want. How to get volume with ad creatives. I don't know if this is the same. I feel like this is the same person. So for us, it's literally just mass amounts of scripts. And then it is, briefs that go over to the faces to record. And then they have, weekly cadences of what they need to record. And then the thing is, you listen to any of the big guys talk about it, like Eddie or whatever, you shoot 5 hooks, 5 bodies, 5 CTAs, and that can get edited out to whatever, 125 pieces of content. We kind of do a portion of that. And then the same thing with, like, once you edit it one way, it's not just your hook, your body, and your CTA. You can then creatively edit these in different ways to make those go a long way further. You can use B-roll. You can use customer testimonials to layer in. You can do it in different orders. You can do like a lot of different pieces. So that's generally speaking how we get the volume. And then once we hit one, or we have like good ones that are rolling, we'll scale into those like pretty heavily. So we're constantly testing like rough numbers, let's say 20 ad creatives a month. But we also have multiple different funnels now. So we'll have different messaging funnels. We have different call to action types. Some are applications, some are to buy low ticket, stuff like that. So yeah, we definitely have those. How many partners do you have for your info offer currently? And do you guys delegate tasks? Also, yeah. So Clogg.com not working. Yeah, it's on a www through ClickFunnels, and it was like a shit show when I set it up. And like, frankly, I don't really care. So this is what this was. And then it's funny because I go to that link and then I tweet it and then it doesn't work. And then it does work sometime, like whatever. So yeah, I likely just need to move this and actually put it somewhere that is stable. I set all this up for like everything, which is hilarious, but like I just didn't really want to mess with it. I didn't really want to move hosting and DNS and like just do all that. So sorry. How many offers do we have? Or I'm sorry, how many partners do we have? So I was technically the third partner that came in. So 2 co-founders, and then I became co-owner. Like, as technically I was like number 4 or 5 on the team, I think. I got to find out that number just so I can say it with confidence. But I was number 4 or 5 on the team. 2 co-founders had built it. I came in as minority owner. And then as we scaled up into it, the roles, responsibilities, and ownership has changed. So yeah, it is us 3. And then there's technically like prof share, kind of some other stuff in there. But yeah, it's just really us core 3. So our current, that's also why I don't talk about a lot of like net numbers. Like, I'm happy to give ranges, and I think someone asked down here, but yeah, they do. But I just don't like to give exact numbers. Like, I talk, already about a lot of stuff, and like, it's not, they didn't ask for me to do this at all, or ask for this. So like, I don't really want to dox their numbers. Like, they live their lives how they do. I did make a video that talked about like 77 million in revenue, or at that time, I think it was 71 million. So I was like 71 million in cash. And then how that breaks out. Team, I already say that we run very heavy and that we're going for a different goal, and that it might be fucking dumb that we're doing it because ours is not a cash flow like juggernaut like some of these guys with 80% margins. Like, good for us is like 30% plus. So we are not even at that right now with everything that we broke and changed and moving everyone to W-2 and comp plan stacking and like overhead. Like, we're not even there right now, which is like shit. And I'm like very clear about that. But I'm not going to scale into things unless we're above 30. So that's kind of like where I'm at. And scale into things for me is like 5 million plus a month. So that's kind of like where we're at. So I'm targeting by the time I'm there, let's say it's 5 a month, call it 1.5 in profit, and then scale into that and hold the line with overhead, all the pieces. So blah, blah, blah. But again, I don't want to dox out like percents and numbers and stuff. So our current Facebook ads testing strategy is test a bunch of angles with different hooks, find a winner, scale spend on this winner, and try and create many iterations. On average, we launch 4 to 5 new angles in 4 to 5 new ad sets. Good. With 1 to 2 KPI, cost per purchase is 20 to 30. So we put each one around $40 a day. Problem, we can't find winners. Every time we launch something new, cost per click is good, but then either cost per lead or cost per call is not good. Hook rate is 30%. CTR is this. For some reason, we can't find a good cost per lead and cost per like. We have our 1 to 2 winning ads inside our ad account. Call like we have with our 1 to 2 winning ads. Each ad set, we're only spending around $50 before turning it off. So that is not 1 to 2x KPI, right? Cost per purchase, I get what you're saying, 20 on this. Not sure if it's enough to call it a loser. I need more math on this to give you proper numbers because at some rate, at some level, like none of this matters. It's really dependent on like what your actual core KPI is. So like if you're saying here, cost per purchase is 20 to 30, but then you're saying here, you're talking about leads and calls, like a $50 call is like crazy low. So I don't know what your offer is, but like to back out of the math, like if you get $1,000 cost per purchase. So think about it this way. So if you have $250, or let's do an easier math. If you have $100 calls, okay, and you have a 50% show up rate, you have $200 cost per live call, okay? Then let's say you have a 30% close rate. I cannot do public math right now. Let's say you have a 30% close rate. Your cost per purchase is what, $600-ish? It's whatever that is. It's ish. So if you're getting a purchaser for $600 on something that is $5,000, like you're in the money, right? So like, I don't know if what you're testing in, and you said you have 2 winners in here. The other thing is optimization. Depending on how you're feeding the pixel and training things, if you have like schedule set and you're getting like $40 calls, but like they don't show up at all and they're not qualified because your schedule isn't cooked correctly, then like that's one thing. Versus if you do purchases and you don't have enough volume, but like all of a sudden your cost per call is $800, but 1 in 2 close, like that's also a game that is very, very common that happens in call funnel. So I don't really know what you're running, so maybe submit this again. But yeah, you're doing the right things. I think you need to be able to spend into it. I think so. What our CMO was talking about is how he'll test all of these out in individual ad sets like you are. He'll force the spend. He'll find one that's a winner, essentially. Then he'll move them into the scaling CBO campaign and then leave those going. But yeah, I think the bigger thing is like also, and I don't know your funnel. So I don't know if like time to lead is huge, or time to call, time to purchase is huge. Like sometimes we'll have like on some of these ranges, we'll have 2 to 4 weeks until they actually like directly back out. So leaving them on low budgets and then just like letting them spend into it sometimes works. So I don't have enough context to like give you a proper answer on this, but there's many things at play. There's optimization at play. There's what kind of funnel this is. There's what kind of expectations you have around cost per whatever event that could completely skew this. So as we're scaling meta ad spend, show rates are tanking. All metrics are the same except show rates. Qualified book calls are not even responding when the closer reaches out. Some of them are literally confirming the day of the call but not showing up. Some things we tried but with no big signs of success. Allowing people only book 2 days ahead. Yeah, 48-hour windows, what we found the best with. Aggressive reaching out after they book. I'm thinking maybe editing the Calendly redirect to a simple video that tells them why this call is important. There's lots of theories out there. Yeah, go into Jeremy Haynes talks about this like extensively. He calls it back-end sales systems. There's like, the 12 core things that you can do. You need everything though. So as you scale into cold traffic, like people are more or less used to these booking funnels now. And like, if it is not a good enough offer, if they don't know what they're applying for, if they know they're going to be sold and it's not something that they want to be sold on, because before the call, you promised them free information and then they get on and they see, or they Google you and it pops up on Reddit that you're a scam or XYZ. So essentially it's the framing that gets them up to why are they applying and booking a call. It is immediately after what are they seeing on the thank you page as congratulations, you're booked XYZ. Here's the video on what to expect for the call. Then common objections and obstacles that come from the classic, like all the feedback that you get from sales calls. So you take them from, objections and you turn them into, pre-frame obstacles. So what does it cost? What is this? What is that? Then you truly have better qualified people because they've watched these things. It's the communication flow you push them to. It is, having someone speed to lead within 5 minutes and dial them and make sure that they're actually confirmed, not just texting them and say yes if you're going to show, because like easiest thing in the world, like you want to create some, micro commitments. So you talk to them. Jeremy talks about the hammer them strat. So he fires ads at them. all these different ones, long form testimonials, authority videos, the objection block videos, like all these things that he'll plug in and then hit them with ads in the booking window. So within that 48-hour window, pushing them back to that page over and over through email or other standalone pages that have other content pieces, just a bunch of stuff. So the biggest thing I can say is the framing prior and the framing after. Because think about it, if you didn't reach out to them at all, but they were like so excited or like they really wanted what the offer was, they would show up for the call. So something is like fundamentally sounds like it's broken here. But like, I also don't know your expectations, because if you're getting 50% show rates, like that seems to be industry standards. I was looking at a thing earlier and people were getting 38% show rates and doing like 2.5 million a month. So like, it can happen. So, and we've even, last month was our worst show rate month ever as a global blended number. And that's like kind of not true, because like the ones that we actually get live, we're now canceling bookings, we're double booking. And that's like a true, we're talking like all bookings versus all shows, which is not really an accurate metric. I mean, depending on how you're looking at it. So hopefully that was helpful. But go watch all Jeremy Haynes content, because he talks about this. I'm making 20 to 50K a month right now, selling cold email as a service and a little bit of coaching. I've tried everything to grow this, but cold email as a mechanism is getting harder and harder to get results with churn so huge. So our churn is huge, and it seems like a feature of an industry, not a bug. I don't want to stick to something that's not producing great results, but at the same time, I don't know how to pivot to something else. This business is taking 8 to 10 hours a day of my time and making me all my income. How would you go about pivoting and make sure it's not just shiny object? First thing I would ask is, nicotine. 20 to 50 selling cold email as a service. So what are you doing? What is the result you're actually selling? Because you're selling, this is what you're, like you said, the mechanism of it. But if you can pivot to something that you're still selling the same result and outcome, but you use something different so that the churn is not there, that is one good way. So like to pivot, you can like full industry pivot, you can to pivot to anything. You could literally do anything. But like, your easiest way in order to keep this is basically pivot as a mechanism. So instead of using cold email or, there's terrible potential, but like AI in some capacity for this, I don't know what the actual outcome is, like cold email as a service. I assume you mean outbound. So getting people lead flow. So like they think they need cold email in order to get them clients, you provide that. But like if there was a better way to get them results, or back to this exact example up here, is like if your results spoke for themselves, then you wouldn't even need to, like you wouldn't be able to handle the amount of client inflow you have, because your results are so good. You would have unlimited referrals. You would have unlimited XYZ because your result is so good. So yeah, if it's not producing great results, you need to pivot to something that produces great results, or you're kind of like selling shit. And then of course you're going to have high churn. Of course you're going to kind of be stuck in this. So kind of like blunt advice, but yeah, I think really focusing on something that you can be the best at, or be, top 10 at, where you can get them a really good result. And whether that's through AI to get them clients through XYZ way, whether that's through, I know people doing a bunch of crazy, like unique things like AI search. I know people who are doing like only Google ads now. I know guys who are all Meta that are all email now, but in terms of like taking existing businesses that are already doing over 100K and like squeezing more things out through automations and SMS, like there's a lot of different ways to do this. So yes, I would pivot. I would hold the line on this so you don't go friggin' broke in between, but I would pivot the service offering and just relaunch it. Another thing, you also have all these past clients you can sell to like right off the rip, which is good, because like you've built up a lot of assets in terms of like people and relationships, whether even if they churned, hopefully they churned well and it was like, oh, this doesn't work for us right at this time, and you can do win back campaigns to get them. So like you already have a pool of people you can sell to. It's just coming up with a new offering and something that's really works and results. The other thing you can do is also just offer it to all the current people or all the past people and win back. That's free and it's performance based only. I always like selling like that. It's like a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer offer. It's like, I want to test this new thing that's AI through cold email and XYZ way, and I'm going to do it for free, and I just want 5% of what the uptick is, or whatever the math is for what your service would normally be, but they pay nothing out of pocket. You work 16 hours a day instead. You get them a bunch of results. You get to use them as case studies. You funnel that back into the feedback loop at the front. You sell more. You ask for referrals, XYZ. So hopefully that helps. I'm forgetting to breathe today. What types of emails do you send to your email list? Are they value-based, testimonial, case study, direct sale offer, or something? These two. I've sent 3 emails a week for the last year, and open rates are good, but I feel like I'm running out of email ideas and want to minimize repeating ideas so people don't unsubscribe. First things first, people get hundreds, if not thousands, of emails a day. You are seeing them all the time repeating. They are not. People need to be reminded, not, or whatever, more so than they need to like learn new things. I'm butchering that, but you understand what I mean. So we send 2 emails a day, every day, forever. So we send to 30-day opens and 90-day clicks, and then people fall outside of that range. We have a large re-engage campaign that pulls them back in, pushes them back into the open and click world. And yeah, so that's how we do it. And ours are mainly value-based and testimonial case study based. We will do the occasional, because the majority of those that are sitting on there, we just need to either push them to application or push to book, depending on the flow or depending on the segment that we are sending to. But the majority that we send to are going to be testimonial case study, value-based. We push them back to the site. So the core of this is actually we're constantly producing new content that exists for middle and bottom of funnel. That goes onto the website. We push them to there. And then when you push them to there, they then land on the site. They get caught in kind of the flow and like then can go on the site, find other videos, find other things that are interesting to them. And then every page has an application CTA on it. So then it pushes them back into apply and book a call. So then, we have people who've been on the list for 2 years, then apply, book a call same day and purchase, because they get an email, they click on it, and they've gotten 2 emails a day every day. We send from the brand face email. Some people do it from the brand company, but we found better results when doing it from the expert. So hopefully that helps. And then, you are going to get unsubscribes, but like at some level, you kind of like want that. You want to not pay for those people, and you want the list to be clean and only be people that are buyers. Because if you are trying to email them only a couple times, then they already are forgetting about you. So you'd rather be top of mind, or get the people who unsubscribe because they're not interested in your product anyway. So how much percentage of EBIT do you take out of the company on a personal level every month or quarter? Do you even do it? I find it difficult to talk about this with anyone because nobody wants to talk about finances. I got you. We normally do monthly salary for 3 of us, about $120K a year, and I have no idea how much percentage we should put in our holding to take chips off the table. 50% of profits split up across 3 owners, monthly or more. We used to do yearly dividend payments. Basically, I feel like that frequency is too low. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to completely depend. Like, I have no context. I like the percentages. That's a little bit cleaner, but like 120K a year, I have no idea. So let's use some simple math. Let's say you're doing 100,000 in profit, true profit every single month. Let's say, let's just say that. So you're doing like 1.2 million in profit across the year. What I hear a lot of people talk about this differently. In cash flow businesses, in info coaching businesses, there is no, like Iman talked about this, there's no like reinvesting that's actually happening. Like there's working capital, there is stuff that goes into payroll, there's stuff that goes into ads. But like if you're truly spending on ads $1 and getting 5 out, like over the X amount of term, call it whatever, 30 days or 90 days, like yes, you need to keep that cash in there. Yes, if you want to double down on ads, you need to keep more cash in there, but like you have your return payback period. And if you don't, you're just putting money in to lose it or to churn the same money back around. So like for the long time, we did quarterly because we same way didn't understand the math or like, we didn't want to be like caught holding the bag. And then we actually probably leaned too far in the other direction, and we were like pulling a lot of it, like a lot of it. And we moved our cadence to monthly. So we'll do monthly. We'll look at the thing. Let's call it, I just want to use simple math, but that was the example. I said 100K in profit. So let's say your payroll, your whatever your fixed expenses are, I don't know, 50 grand. So you leave like 100 in the bank, let's just say. And then you pull the rest. So pretty simple. You do it, 5 or 10 days after the month, depending if you have coaching versus info, you sell login access, what's your fulfillment period? What are your future costs against that? Because the other thing is if your acquisition stops tomorrow, you stop generating new cash, how much cash you need to have in the business to continue to fulfill on everything or pay for whatever things in terms of overhead or fulfillment that you still need to, because you either need to close down shop and just pay out fulfillment, or you need to have that cash in there. So you either need to generate it or put it back in. So like, I don't like the idea of ever having to put it back in. Once it comes out, it's out. So as long as you're running lean and you're running, you know your numbers, I don't see an issue with doing it, basically leaving safer side 2 to 3 months, risky side 2 to 4 weeks of cash flow that you need, or cash inside the banks. So inside the bank account. So yeah, hopefully that answers that. And then there's other structures and ways to do this, like salary wise, like we don't even touch these. We only do it through, distributions. So we'll only do that. We do have obviously team and stuff that makes their payrolls. We do bi-weekly payrolls, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And then feel free to message me about this if you have like some weird situation or case or situation, because I don't want you to pull your money out and then be caught and then have to put it back and like weird taxation shit and all that. So you can message me. Email and retention. I have no idea what you mean. I feel like I've talked about a lot about email and a bit about retention. Retention for us, they're already existing clients. It's not really like win back campaigns to get them to buy other stuff. We are actually kind of starting to focus on that because we have, call it 5,000 plus that were high ticket customers that then ended their term and did not renew. So those are churned high ticket. So we're doing things through email and call outs to bring them back through win back and retention. Can you explain the idea behind marketer, expert, operator split for info businesses and their role? Yes. So my theory on this is essentially you can start one of these up the Josh Gavin way, and it's like offer publisher, right? You have an expert. So you have someone who is let's use a good example. You have someone who is a tax pro. Absolute tax pro, has a local shop, does their thing. They have all, they're trying to create YouTube or, content online. They're doing YouTube videos. They know everything about all this stuff. They just don't really have like the positioning. They don't have an offer. They don't have whatever other than, go to my website and have this shitty form and it's like book it. And then, oh yeah, if you're not in whatever range, I don't really have a service for you because you come into my office and you meet and do whatever. So the marketer can come in who has a little bit of operator skill, sure, but like really is a marketer at core with some entrepreneurial skill, which is different than operating skill. And they will then build an offer around this person that is a 10K, whatever, taxation, audit, study, all this course creation, all this course content, a group around this. They'll do twice a week coaching calls where people can come in and ask any question. They specifically target small business owners that do between 1 and 10 million in revenue in whatever niche of things. They help them create their ICP, they help them create their offering, and then they actually help them sell it. So then they help them create ads, they help them create content, they push people to this thing, they sell a low ticket thing that ascends, or they sell some high ticket thing through a VSL call funnel, they script it, they whatever, and they build this entire model. And then they, generally speaking, can own X percentage of it. The tax one's kind of a problem, like not a problem, but like that one's going to be a little, generally speaking, harder because that kind of person has like this whole business. So you only get money on the info coaching. But the beauty of that model is they make so much more money because they have recurring tax clients. They have referrals to estate attorneys. They have referrals to insurance. They have insurance or referrals to XYZ. So like that one's kind of wonky because it's like, how do you get paid as the marketer? It's very easy to spin it up and get 50, 70, 80%, whatever number of the actual info coaching business that you're creating with them as the expert, right? Like that's going rate. If you have experience, you can get 50% of the company all day. If you're not experienced, you get 20%, let's say. And then the person gets 80%, you build the whole thing around them, and then you do this. Once you get to a certain scale, you are no longer pumping an offer, you are building a business. And when you have a business, a lot of marketers are not fantastic in the entrepreneurial way. They're great with ideation. That's how they were good at this. That's how they're great at creating the offers and all this like design and copy and whatever. But they don't have the skill set as well as much as the skill set they have of that. They don't really have that in terms of operating. So that's when it comes in project management, operator, COO, whatever titles. But you have someone who thinks more system-based and can go, oh, okay, cool. We're doing 200K a month with this. How do we take this to 2 million? What are the constraints? What is the system? What do we need more of? What are one-time projects? What are recurring projects? What kind of people do we need in place? How does the math work for the comp? Are we building this to sell? And if so, we need XYZ W2 and this team and reduction of this risk and whatever versus global team and, gunslinging and being able to do that with crazy high margins. So like an operator more so person is going to do that than the marketer and the expert. So hopefully that makes sense. How do you go about hiring contracting brand faces in detail? So for us, I know a lot of people who have done this a lot better than us, so I don't know if I'm really the person to ask. But ours was, we just found them online who already had kind of personas around the niche we were targeting. We're not using their organic presence. We literally are using them for who they are, their expertise in the niche, their physical appearance, because for us it is it matters for that. Because again, we're in fitness and kind of hit XYZ check marks, are a good person, are cool, are we want to hang out with them. And then we structured comp models basically in alignment with that for just deliverables. So same way that you pay someone to UGC and you pay them whatever thousands for this, then you do this. Other people do, different models. But for us, we needed multiple brand faces. We tested them through ads. So initially we ran to the same core funnels just with them as ads, saw how they performed at the ad level, and then also obviously the throughput level, but mainly how do they perform on ads. Then the next phase of that is launching them their own funnels, so their own VSLs, where then they then bridge over post VSL and bridge into the main company for application booking, all that. And then the next iteration is using them inside low ticket products and then selling through that and then having the ascension funnel. So using those three kind of core layers. So just as ads to start. So you just have them as ads, you run to your core funnels. Are the metrics good? Does it resonate? Is it cool there? Then introducing them on the ad level and the VSL or whatever funnel level. Did those all back out? Did these have good stats? Did the VSL good? Whatever. And the next layer is creating actual products around them that exist within the catalog and suite within the company. And then other people will bring them through and have them as group coaches. We'll have them inside community calls. We'll do stuff like that. But ours is kind of like a pass off. It's like I partnered with, I'm a brand ambassador for type thing, not like I'm a coach in our example. So yeah, and the comp kind of tiers as those things happen. So it's like, okay, we just need ads. That's like one thing. We need VSLs. That's like another thing. And then we need info products. That's like another thing. So all of them with having weekly, monthly, whatever deliverables around ads, around VSL splits, around, not really around products, but like kind of around products just to do build outs. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to balance heavy outreach, my main revenue driver, with content creation, client delivery, and team management. I sometimes watch movies or entertaining videos on the side while I work, not brain rot or movies, but I'm wondering, sometimes watch movies or entertaining videos on the side, if it's hurting my focus. How do you structure your day for maximum productivity? Do you even believe in complete focus during work hours or some background entertainment okay for some tasks? What's your framework for deciding what deserves 100% attention versus you can multitask? Oh man, am I not the person to ask this question? I have two monitors. So I have these two set up right here. This I try and only use for like referencing. So like I'll have like stats over here, or if I'm like looking back and forth for this and this. But man, was there a time. I mean, I lived in for 3 years, like, you know, freaking in isolation basically, and was just at my computer like 18 hours a day, like no joke. Was not the best. And I also, that's not even true, because when I was working it was that, but then I was also like fucking off and just going like partying and like traveling and shit. But like when I was in pocket, that's how I would do it. I would have this set up right here, and then it was in a living room, and then I had a TV in the back, and I would literally be doing stuff, and I would have like shows running. Like I've seen every single show fucking possible on Amazon Prime or Netflix, and I don't even see, like, I basically have no idea what happened, but I would do it for like the audio. Then when I got a little smarter about it, I would turn on like long form podcasts. So I've learned a ton of stuff through there. So I'll turn those on, and I usually just do it on this one. I don't do it as much anymore at all, honestly. But right now I bounce around like, oh, I'm doing this thing for X or personal brand. It's like, oh, I'm doing this for main co. Or then it's like, oh, I'm doing this for whatever. Meetings, I'm like in. Meetings, I try my absolute best to not do anything while on a meeting, unless it's like completely doesn't need me to be on there. I'm there for like one piece, and then I'll work, and then I'll like pop back in. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely not focused. I also have heard and looked at the stats, and multitasking is not a thing. It's like your brain's focused on this or it's focused on this. So it's like background noise is one thing, but true, like multitasking is not really a thing, especially when you're not doing educational or whatever things. So how do I structure my day? Right now it's a shit show, if I'm being blunt. It used to be really dialed, and my like favorite for me is like my 5 a.m. to like 8 a.m. ish is like nobody fucks with me, and it's like my dream. So I can come in here, I can have coffee, I can do my thing, I can look at random stats, I can explore this, I can inbox zero, I can, you know, set up the task list. Usually I was doing it the night before. What my like main core things, I die by the calendar. So if it makes my calendar, it happens. My issue right now is I'm not like putting things on calendar. This whole like YouTube video a day plus this for like 80 or 90 days of it, 70 or 80 days of this, I was like dialed. And then it kind of got like shot out of a cannon where it's like, oh shit, I got to do my video, or like, oh, I'm doing this. And I have opportunities flowing to me like river. Like it is insanity, the things that come to me. So I'm like, I've basically denied everything. But like, it's a lot of my brain power right now, because it'll be like very attractive things and big names that, you know, and like, I just have been like trying to protect the brain, but then also be like, oh, am I missing out? So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm willing to help, but like I don't really want to do it for comp, because if I do it for comp, then that requires like me to be full in, because I'm not going to do something for $100,000 and not help someone make, you know, $500,000 or whatever. So I'm doing this whole structure right now, and I've also been doing dancing with some like the personal stuff more. Went on the bachelor party trip, whatever, 2 weeks ago. Spend more time with girlfriends, spend more time with family, like do that kind of stuff, because I was kind of like, relatively speaking, an asshole for a minute, because I was like 98% in my work. So, but my best day is 5 to 8 a.m., kind of like in pocket. 8 a.m., basically everyone's awake and doing stuff. Live by the calendar. I'll have meetings roughly from 8 to noon-ish. I'll go to the gym. I still go to the gym every single day, no matter what. I'll do that, and then I come back, and then that's usually like podcasty, YouTube, whatever time. And then sometimes I'll have meetings between 2 and 5, depending. And then I will then either do the YouTube video, then I'll go to dinner. Then I have, you know, mobile for everything else, but majority of the time is sat here. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but maximum productivity for me, the best ways has been structuring the day fully, not deviating from it. So if you say you're going to build XYZ website in this 2-hour block, get it fucking done. it is planning that out the day prior. So like end of day, planning it out, doing your like actual goal setting, I find helps. And if you actually review it, like it kind of sounds stupid, but like actually reviewing it, the gratitude thing, like I try and find moments for that and be like, look at where I'm at now. This is crazy. 110 days ago, I was literally living in a cave, had no friends, had no whatever inside this world. And now it's like literally like exploding at the seams. So like I try and find moments for that. But yeah, so hopefully that was helpful, but I don't really know if I'm the person. There's productivity gurus who all they do is that. I just like my coffee and stims and having fun and problem solving and shit. So I've been working with the YouTube agency for several months and delivering good results, but I feel like I'm forgetting to go back to the basics and miss small optimization opportunities that can make their YouTubes even better. Sometimes clients point things out that I should have caught first. Oof, I feel this. Do you have a framework for consistently delivering for clients? Is it a focus issue? Do I need better systems? How do you make sure you're always operating at your highest level for clients and not missing small things? This is like same thing as this. It's like you need to be locked when you're locked, or you need to have redundancies in place to make sure that when you're not. I made a video about this yesterday or the day before. It was about phases 2 days ago. About phases, and like I've had moments where like I've dropped the ball because I've like not been focused, and it is like for me the shittiest feeling in the world. So same thing with me saying like, oh, I'm not going to take, people offering me 100 grand, 500 grand, whatever these things. Like if I don't get them 5x, 10x that, then like I would rather die or like not sleep until I figure it out and help them. So for this, you either need, I think it was Ahmed who came in here and talked about this, but he kind of did the Mr. Beast thing where he had somebody shadow him completely and then literally just be next to him in every video, every Zoom, every meeting, every work day, all his stuff for X amount of time until he had essentially like a right hand that could come through and do this. So he did it through systems/people. But you in the interim, until you kind of have that, yeah, it's 100% a focus thing. Like you're clearly like spread too thin or not catching details. So creating checklists of, oh, did I do this? Then having a VA go through the checklist, or you having to go through and do the checklist. Like it's all about scaling through systems, people, and that piece of it. So you can continue to do this highest level of work because you want to have the highest level of work, no doubt. And that's how you lose clients and churn and stuff like that, which then you have to acquire new customers. We all know the cost and time and whatever comes along with that between time and money. So you want to keep clients. So you want to make sure that you are operating at your highest level and you show up. And then also people are people too. So like people know that shit happens and people fuck up. Like if you have a good relationship with them and you're not a robot when you talk to them. So yeah, I mean, there's obviously some leniency in here, but hopefully that was helpful. Focus. Real FU money mindset and how their mind algorithms and thinking processes. I think about this a lot. I don't have this yet. So I have made good money for sure. And I know people who have made way more money, and there's this comparison game and there's all these things, but I don't necessarily have this yet. I do have the belief, my friends and I talk about this a lot actually. I have one friend that, let's call him Bill. I have a friend, Bill, who makes fuck you money, and local person, like just a good friend that I have had throughout XYZ time, and just has, the Midas touch, has made things work, has just like the most confidence in like all the ways around all of this stuff. Everyone has their shit. Let's just be clear about that. So whether it's me, whether it's that person, whether it's a million other people, they all have their own personal things going on. But like around this portion, it's like can buy anything, obviously not anything, but like anything, has the confidence. For me, it comes back to the self-confidence in yourself, which is the biggest thing, which is done by saying you're going to do something either to yourself or publicly and then doing it. So if you know that you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. every day and you are waking up at 6:30 and you're waking up at 8, like it's a little lost to yourself, and those compound so fucking heavy. If you are like, oh, I'm not going to drink for the month, and you drink 6 days in because your friends are having something, you lost a battle with yourself, and like your confidence tanks like slowly and then quickly. And if you can't trust yourself, you can't do that anywhere. And then people won't trust you. And like, it's this really big compounding effect. And like, I've had major issues with this in the past, and I'm still working out of it. But like the real FU money mindset is like, you have so much, like, it doesn't even matter, right? Like you have so much confidence in yourself to generate it, to spin something up that you know that like, if XYZ went to zero, like you could make it back because the skill set you have in your brain because the skill set you've acquired over XYZ time or years, you have XYZ assets that produce this, that like you're safeguarded and shielded. There's a lot of people in the online space, or a couple people I can think of directly in the online space who like actually have this that I've met personally. But yeah, it just, I think really comes from just compounding over time. And again, I should not be the person answering this in terms of like me as a person. I can just show you what I have seen. And like friend Bill, for example, like all of a sudden it's like, oh, this real estate deal, or oh, this thing that spits off $100,000 a month, or oh, this other thing, or like, oh yeah, it's compounding at 30% a year, and like just constantly doing stuff in that realm. And sure, can have all these other things going on in life, but like that part of it has on lock. So like has so much confidence in self that like if it all went to zero, could just spin it up tomorrow. And also has the confidence that it's not going to go to zero because they are so diversified and they're so like all these ways. So thinking processes are big. Thinking processes are another big one, is that like it doesn't always have to be hard. Like I'm trying to think, I think it was Bob Proctor, but he talks about, he's like, it can be easy. Like it can be so easy. And like you see some of these guys who make like $500,000 a month, and it's like, respect to them. Clearly they're doing something right, but like are not necessarily, sharpest tool in the shed type vibes. But like it doesn't matter because it doesn't have to be hard. Like we're playing this game on hard mode, like in a lot of stuff we're doing. And sometimes we're like, what are we doing? Or like, why? Or like affiliates and lead gen, like those guys crush, like they're crazy, like technical and in the detail, whatever. And then you meet one that has like way out here and like is in that portion, like doesn't have similar traits as like a lot of the other guys do, but still crushes it. And it's like their frame on it, it's like, oh, it's not that difficult. It's like, oh, or I already have some media buyers, or like all these guys are like crazy in the weeds of ad accounts for 18 hours a day, and this guy's like, oh, I have 2 media buyers. And like, what do you mean? And like, I just do biz deals. And it's like there's just different frames to look at things. And like you said, in thinking processes, I'm probably not the person to ask this, but like, yeah, you can just see it more comes down to that part. The thinking process is the belief, the self-confidence you have in yourself, and something I'm actively like every single day working on, like 100%. So I'm trying to do it through stacking wins. I'm trying to do it through stacking, like saying I'm going to do something and doing it, saying I'm going to do a video a day and doing it. And there are costs to that and shit that I've messed up because I have stayed true to myself to do that instead of other things. So if I operate multiple Faceless Instagram theme pages with millions of followers and have success on TikTok plus YouTube, can I help coaches, consultants grow their IG and get paid a high ticket price since they would get more eyes on their offer, hopefully bring sales? I know some guys relatively that are like local that crush with this, and I need to reconnect with those guys because they like crush. So I know people who have done really big numbers with these. I know people who have sold these. Not personally, actually, I don't personally know the people who have sold these, but they're like, friends of friends, that have sold massive pages. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know that you should distract yourself by trying to sell info coaching to people for a high ticket price. I mean, like maybe some like massive price that's just like fun for you on the side and to like do XYZ. But I think more so I would just lean into this. Like if you know how to do this, this is different than this. This is like content generation and like scripting and like cadence and editing and distribution and matching it to the offer. And then the offer's not right for what the audience is. And then going back and then like scaling the offer and then trying to do that. Like if you stay in your bucket and just like, oh, I'm going to help them grow on Instagram. Like, okay, I've seen people who go kind of this model where it's like they're framed like this, but they're a coaching consultant and like, I'm sure it works, but then they need like massive setter teams and stuff like that inside there. So, or you just grow these and like, I saw guys that were posting on X the other day that are doing millions a year just from having Faceless accounts, specifically YouTube. But then same thing with like shout outs and like having small teams that they were running for Instagram pages. And again, guys have sold these for tens of millions of dollars. So I don't know, my personal opinion, I don't have a ton of experience with this, but like would just be to grow these and continue in your lane, scale them, get multiple more of them, grow upward in certain ones. And then, yeah, sure, if you want to help some certain people do it, but like, no, it's a different beast because that's different than Faceless. Last one. I'm a 20-year-old running a YouTube marketing agency for AI and SaaS companies. YouTube marketing, okay. Currently at around $3,000 to $5,000 a month in revenue. In 3 weeks, I'll be in Dubai for a week and want to use it as a network opportunity to connect with people doing bigger things. The way I can fathom what's really possible when I put my head down and work. As someone at my stage, how would you approach networking in a city like Dubai? What types of events should I attend? What's the best way to add value to higher level entrepreneurs when I'm still building myself? I've been solo traveling Southeast Asia, but I feel like Dubai trip might open some big doors. Again, probably not the person to answer this. I went to Dubai for like a conference and I went completely alone and I met no one and I barely left my fucking hotel room and I'm like introvert and like this is not my speed. So I'm probably not the person to ask this. Other people, all they do is do this. They go to every event. They know everyone. They're connected through the nth degree. They meet someone who opens the door to 10 more people. And then through those 10 people, each person 10, now they got 100 and like they do that. That's not really my speed. I also don't even know how to approach going to like a random city and trying to do it other than using a social network or presence I already have. So like right now, like I'm going to Miami in a week or two or whatever. I can tweet now, which I could not do 100 days ago, FYI. But I can tweet now and be like, who's in Miami? Or like, let's do a dinner in Miami this date, DM me, and then like try and put together a dinner, and then so-and-so will bring so-and-so. We went to London for Iman's event and then met some people there. They had some friends, went to a dinner there. They had some other friends, went and played paddle, went and got breakfast, then went to some big dinner. They brought more friends, and like next thing you know, we've got like 5-10 guys that are super cool, and we had like a great time, and like everyone's crushing it in their own lane in real estate versus info coaching versus Jim, like just all these other entrepreneurs that like I would have never met. Business partner is way better at this, and he'll go and like meet people at the sauna, at the gym, network about this, then get dinner with these guys. They bring their 4 friends. He brings one of his friends, and then they go out and they meet, you know, up with another 10 people that they meet out, and like they do that, and like that's not really my speed. So the only thing I have is my pretty close connections, like business wise, like very close connections, that business partners that turn friends, or like business connections that turn friends, or I have like core friends. And then now I have all this stuff that exists on mainly X and some on Instagram, because people chat, like message me a lot on Instagram, but I don't really use it for like the actual platform other than messaging currently. And then, yeah, people who like watch YouTube videos and stuff. So that's all I have. And I've made some good connections with the people I've talked to through the YouTube videos, which is great, because I basically made 50, 60 videos a day. So that was all about me. How would I do it? I have no fucking idea. I would do it through social in some capacity. I don't know if there's already events. Like, for example, I went to the affiliate world or something like that in Dubai. So like I went for an actual conference, and then you can meet people in those because they're built for networking. There's literally like networking rooms. Same way that if you go to, you know, Lead Gen or whatever that is, the affiliate Southwest, and you go to Vegas, like everyone goes to the Chandelier Bar. You go there, you order some drinks, you hang out, you run to the person next to you. You're nice and friendly and have XYZ experience. You get to meet so-and-so. They introduce you to 12 more people, and like it just begins. So it's really about like what room are you in? And obviously Dubai has a lot of those. I do not personally, I'm not like privy to knowing them. So I don't really have like, oh, go to this restaurant and hang out here, and that's where everyone cool goes. Like it's also kind of a weird vibe, if I'm being honest. You kind of want to like be in a place that's built for networking, like a conference, or you want to meet people socially or like through social media, meet up with them, and then go from there with the web of connection. So hopefully that was helpful. 56 minutes daily update. I don't know. It's a freaking holiday weekend. So we're only at what, 45 grand on the day, 75 yesterday, which is bad because we've been doing 100 plus a day steady. I am hoping for a record month this month. We're going for 4 to 5. I'm pressing for 5. So I got to bet. I got to win. So daily updates. Go here for Doc. Hopefully this works. You need the www, or it doesn't work because of my shitty ClickFunnels setup. Tech, ops, marketing, sales, mindset, all the videos are here and logged. I'm on day 115 in a row of doing these. And then the other one is the Rolodex. This. See, I told you the website works, guys. This, I have connects with all these people, and again, they may pay me, they may not. I haven't been paid by anyone, just to be 100% clear, but they might if I just do a bunch of stuff. I've got marketing vendors, sales agency vendors, different deals and stuff with HubSpot, clicks, whatever. I don't really care about this, actually. It's not really that important to me. But yeah, so you guys can go there if you want, and I'm down to connect to you as long as you Instagram message with context. I appreciate you guys. Drop some comments. I like these videos. I don't know how to answer certain ones that are like these. Like, I don't really get it. But when there's context and they're not a complete mile long, like the people who submit one that's like the whole page, I think they're helpful, and I hope you can find some golden nuggets in them that are valuable for you guys. All right. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you tomorrow. I think I got a good one tomorrow. I think I got some funny guys who have a very large business that I think I'm going to do tomorrow. So talk to you guys soon.